Greetings, friend. I'll share 3 of my favorite tips that you need to know if you want to solve hard puzzles like this and do it much faster. Click below if you want to give this puzzle a go. And with that, it's solving time. Okay, my first tip is you gotta find as much restriction as possible. This will get you on the right solve path. Check out these ones here. There's only 2 places to put a 1 in block 2. So I'll do some Snyder notation to mark that and show the restrictions right there. Also with these 2 ones, you can put 1s here in block 7. That's all we can do with the 1s right now. Let's move on to the 2s. Okay, with these 2s, you might notice that there's only 2 places to put a 2 in block 5, so we'll mark that. Again, we're only going to make marks if we got to solve or we only have 2 possibilities in each 3x3 block. Let's check out the 3s now. Okay, with these 3s, there's 2 possibilities for 3 in block 2. And that's all the marks we can do with the 3s. In the 4s, we're going to be able to do some solving. So let's check out these 4s. With this 4 in column 2 and the 4 in column 3, you can actually solve for a 4 now in block 4. And then with this 4, you can put Snyder 4s in block 5. Also with this 4, and this 4, you got Snyder 4s in block 3. And then with this 4 coming down the column, Snyder 4s in block 9. Move on to the 5s. I'm just going sequentially so I don't miss any of these digits. With these 2 5s, got Snyder 5s in block 7. So we're just finding where the restrictions are, what cells, what blocks we're going to be able to make some solves. Because with the 6s, we are going to be able to do some solving here. You might notice with these 2 6s, you can solve for a 6 in block 1. And then with these 2 6s and this 6, you can solve in block 6. And with these 2 6s and this 6, just do a little cross hatching, solve for 6 here in block 9. And then with this 6 and this 6, you can solve for 6 in block 8. And we solved all the 6s. Awesome. Move on to the 7s. 2 places for a 7 in block 7. And then over in block 3, 2 possibilities right there. If you look at the 8s, you'll notice with just these 2 8s, we don't have any marks that we can make right now. We have some blocks where there's 3 cans, we don't want to mark that. And then go to the 9s, and we have quite a few 9s, so we're going to be able to make some solves. There's only 1 place for 9 in block 3. And then you might notice in block 8, with these 2 9s and this 9, you can solve for 9 right here. And then you can mark the 9s with this 9 and this 9. Restricted to these 2 cells in block 4, and then restricted to these 2 cells here in block 5. So we've gone through all the digits, and I'll give you a little bonus tip here. We went through there sequentially. You do want to go back after making some solves, because this isn't the time to look for the advanced strategies yet. We don't want to look for anything tougher that requires more time to review and analyze if we can just go right back through. And so if you went through sequentially, we noticed we solved especially a lot of 6s. Let's go back. So for example, with these 3s, you'll see that this 3 cuts across row 5 and this 3 comes up column. So you actually have Snyder 3s in block 6, but they also act as a pointing pair. Since the 3s are restricted in block 6 to row 4, 3 can't be anywhere else outside the block in that row, right? You try to put a 3 here, and you have no place to put a 3 in block 6. So we can use that pointing pair to our advantage to know that 3 can't be here anymore. And then with this 3 and this 3, they can't be in these spots. So you can solve for 3 here in block 4. And I actually cover pointing pairs in my Sudoku solving guide. You can download it for free from the pinned comment below. But these 2 3s now allows you to do Snyder 3s in block 7. And then we can look up here, and you notice there's only 3 digits remaining. So this is actually worth noting. You have a 1 2 5 naked triple now in block 1. And with this 2, a 2 can no longer be there. And so now the 2s act as another pointing pair in block 1, which eliminates the ability for 2 to be here. You already can't be here because of this 2. And because of this 2, they can't be here. So you have a Snyder 2s now in block 2, but we're not done. With this 2 cutting across, you actually have a pointing pair of 2s in block 9, which restricts the 2s to these 2 cells now in block 7. We have something pretty cool going on here with these 4 cells. You might notice that now the 2s are restricted in blocks 1 and 7 to columns 1 and 2. So a 2 has to be there and there, or there and there. If they're not, you can't have a 2 in these 2 spots, because you put a 2 here, for example, you'll see pretty quickly that these can't be 2s. You only have the same column to put the 2s in rows 2 and 7. That can't happen. So we know that can't be a 2 right there. So the 2s are actually restricted over here to column 3 in block 4. This makes them actually a claiming triple because there's 3 empty cells. So just remember, these can't be 2s. And the Snyder marks will help us remember that. But we can also do that again with the 1s. Because you have these 2 1s here, restricts the 1s to these 2 cells, where can a 1 go in block 4? You might notice only in columns 2 and 3. And so this is the same effect that we had with the 2s, but now you'll see that the 1s have to be somewhere in column 1, but they're restricted to these 2 cells in block 1. So this makes them a claiming pair of 1. So you can remove a 1 from that cell right there. You try to put a 1 there, no place to put a 1 in column 1. Awesome. So we're doing a little bit of trimming here to remove some of these marks and some of these candidates. And then we're getting really close to our second tip. And so you have 2 choices at this point. You have to do some more advanced strategies to make any more progress. And you either have a choice to look at all the single candidate strategies, or you can look at buy value cells and buy value strategies. That's the next progression in our solving. And before I tell you which way I'll try first, and that you should try first, and reveal my second tip, I want to hear from you. Do you look for single candidate or buy value cells first when you get stuck? Because we're kind of stuck right now. Please, please drop in the comments. Let me know what you think and share with the other viewers. Help me grow the best Sudoku community on YouTube. I answer every comment and learn so much from you. So what we're going to do is we are going to try the single candidates first. And the way you do that is you click on the single candidates and then look to see how much restriction you have. If I did this with the 1s, you might notice all these places can be where the 1s are. Right there. And then you could highlight that, and you want to look for some restrictions with the 1s. There's actually not anything else we can do there. But it is going to lead me into my second tip. The second tip is if you're looking for single candidate strategies, you need to look for conjugate pairs. The reason I know there's nothing here we can do with the 1s is because I looked at these conjugate pairs. So a conjugate pair is in any house, so Sudoku, row, column, or block, there's only 2 possibilities for the candidate. So one's got to be either here. If it's not there, it's got to be there in column 4. That's a conjugate pair. Same thing here and here. These are conjugate pairs. These are conjugate pairs. And these are conjugate pairs. They can be within the row, the column, or the block, and even in between blocks like I just showed you right here. But when I looked at these conjugate pairs, there isn't anything we can do with those 1s. And so you move on, and if you looked at the 2s, there's not enough restriction with the 2s to do anything there, and there's not enough to do with the 3s at this time. However, let's look at the 4s and see what we can do with the 4s. All right, so I know 4s can be here, they can be there, they can be in these 2 cells, they can be in these 3 cells, and they can be in these cells. And so I'm going to remove all the 4s from here, and we're going to highlight where the 4s can be. And we want, again, look for some conjugate pairs. And this time, we're going to be able to find something that's going to help us make some eliminations. So like I said, you want to recognize the single candidate strategies by using conjugate pairs. There's actually 2 different single candidate strategies that you can find right here, and they will lead to the same solve. It's pretty cool. First one, you'll notice you have a conjugate pair in column 8, and you have a conjugate pair here in row 9, and they both are extending out of the block. When you already have this situation, and I'll put these as orange, where you have a conjugate pair going out of the column and out of the row of a single block, you have found a 2-string kite. And what you'll know is that a 4 can be here, If it's not there, it's got to be here, which eliminates the 4 from this cell and puts a 4 right there. Either way, either this is a 4. If it's not, this cell here will have to be a 4 because of a 2-string kite. And so you can eliminate any cell that sees both of them, which would be this cell right here. The other strategy that you have, and I'll come back to that elimination, is you could look right here, and when I initially saw this puzzle, this is what I saw first. You'll notice that you have what looks like an X-wing except for this additional fin. Okay? And so that additional fin makes this a finned X-wing. So if this wasn't there, you'd have an X-wing in columns 4 and 8. And so a 4 would have to be there and there, or there and there. But because you have a fin here, this fin could be true. So if it's not true, you still have the X-wing. And then you'd be able to eliminate all the cells of 4s in between the 2 rows. If the fin is true, you can still eliminate 4s between the 2 rows in the same block. So no matter if this is true or not true, you can always eliminate this cell right there. And so you can make an elimination here if you looked at the fin X-wing. And it leads to the same elimination as if you did this 2-string kite. And so with the 2-string kite, you make this elimination right there. The fin X-wing, you make this one. It actually ends up being the same thing. If you eliminate the cell here, this ends up being a claiming pair. And by doing this elimination, this is a pointing pair, and you eliminate that cell. So we can eliminate both of those 4s. And this is awesome stuff for us because it's going to be able to unlock a couple more key eliminations that you need for this puzzle. And so that was my tip number 2. And what it does for us is remembering that this can't be a 4 anymore. We can now look across row 8 and see something pretty cool here. What you might see is this cell can't be a 1, can't be a 2 because of claiming pair or pointing pair 2s. It can be a 3, but it can't be a 4. It could be a 5, but it can't be a 6, 7, 8, or 9. Okay, if you look at this cell right here, it can't be a 1, 2s, 3, 4. It can be a 5, but it can't be a 6, 7. It can be an 8, but it can't be a 9. Okay, no biggie until you come right here. Remember we eliminated the 4? So now this can't be a 1 or a 2. It can be a 3. Can't be a 4 anymore. Can't be a 5, 6, 7, or a 9. This is a 3, 8. So what you see now with these 3 cells is you have a naked triple of the digits 3, 5, and 8. So 3, 5, and 8 can only be in these 3 cells, and no other digits can. And since there's 3 digits, they have to fill up these 3 cells. Then these 3 cells cannot be a 3, 5, or an 8. They got to be 2, 4, or a 7. And so now we can like that, and I'll actually add the 4, 7 here to finish block 9. And this can't be a 2. So now what you've created is this nice naked triple 3, 5, and 8, and a naked triple 2, 4, 7 to introduce some more restriction into this puzzle. And you might look around a little bit more, and unfortunately, you're going to be stuck again. This is as far as we can go without finding another advanced strategy. And so now we're going to go into my tip number 3. And this is the one, it's very popular. I use this all the time, and I spot this in championship puzzles, and it's going to work here. And what we want to do is you could fill out all of the bi-value cells in this puzzle. And there's quite a few. There's probably 20 right now. However, if you find something quicker as you're filling them out, that's what you want to focus on. Remember right here we eliminated a 4? What could this cell be now? Well, it could be a 1, but it can't be a 2, 3, can't be a 4, 5, 6, 7, or a 9. So this is a nice 1, 8 bi-value cell, BVC. And the tip number 3 here is you want to find this bi-value strategy I'm about to show you that's going to make your solves much quicker. It's a nice bi-value shortcut, and it's easy to find even if you're doing paper and pencil marking. If we can find another 1, 8 somewhere in this 3-column band in a different block, that's going to help us out. Well, look right here. What can this cell be? It can be a 1, but it can't be a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or a 9. It can also be an 8. It's a 1, 8 bi-value cell. Now, what's the significance? You have 1 bi-value cell, 1 and 8 here in column 4 in block 2. It's the same by value cell right here in column 5 in block 5. Now you look at the third column, third block, and you'll notice that only a 1 can be a possibility, right? You can be a 1 right there, but that cannot be an 8. Whenever you see this situation, you found something very cool here. What you might notice is both of these cells cannot be an 8. Because if you put an 8 right here, and you put an 8 right there, where would an 8 go in block 8? It wouldn't go anywhere, right? Because it can't fit there. That's why you check these 3 cells. So what you know is at least one of these has to be a 1. It has to be a 1. This is a Sudoku W wing, but it's called the delta variant W wing. And what it means by delta variant is you're not checking for another conjugate pair outside. All you have to do is look at these 2 cells, look here, and go, yep, we found a delta variant double wing. And what that means is with the W wing, you can eliminate a 1 from any cell that sees both, right? Because we know at least one of these cells has to be a 1. You can eliminate a 1 from this cell right here. You can actually eliminate a 1 from right here as well. And so this would be a 2, 4, and 8, right? Can't be anything else there. And this is huge because we eliminated a Snyder mark. And when you do that, you know you can solve the other cell right away. And so what we do by finding that is we solve that for a 1. Awesome. And this shortcut, again, appears time and time again in hard puzzles. It's considered advanced strategy, but I feel like it's one of the easiest advanced strategies to find. So now you want to go back and go, what does this do for our puzzle? And are we going to get stuck again? Well, let's see. That's a 1. That's got to be a 5. That's got to be a 2, and that's got to be a 1. Okay. And then with this 5, we can follow us down. You know, that's a 3. That's an 8, and that's going to be a 5. Nice. And then with these 2 5s, you can solve for a 5 right there. With these 2 5s, you can solve for a 5 in block 6. So far, we're looking pretty good. We're making some good solves. Now you notice we have a full house in column 1. The only digit remaining is a 2 now. And so you can remove the 2 from right there. And then you have, after solving that 2, is you can look across row 7. And when you left is a 3 or 7. I got the 3 right there. So that's a 3, and that's going to be your 7, which gives you a nice 1-8 naked pair here in block 7. Awesome. And what else can we do now? You'll notice that you just have a 4-7 remaining here in block 8, so we'll mark that. And the 4-7 to finish row 9, along with the 1-8. But can we do better than that? You know, we don't want to keep marking, we want to start solving, right? Well, let's follow these 3s. With this 3 and this 3, now we can displace a Snyder 3. You can solve for a 3 right there. Awesome. And then with these 2 3s, you can solve for a 3 right here. And we'll displace that Snyder 3 and solve for 3 in block 6. So we took care of all the 3s. Now let's look here in block 3 here. Put a 3 right there. And what restrictions did we create? You got a 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, you got a 4, 5, 7, and an 8. So 4, 5, and the 7 means this has to be the 8, and then that's going to be your 7. And so what you have left here is a 4 and a 5. Well, I got the 5 right there. So here's your 5, and there's your 4. Looking good. All right, what else can we do? Well, look at some of these full houses. The only thing I don't see in block 2 is a 4. And then what I don't see in block 3, it looks like an 8. Awesome. And this is going to be a 2, 5. I got the 5 there. Just pull it on up. There's your 5 displacing that Snyder 2. And now you know that can't be a 2 anymore. You displace that Snyder 2, displace the Snyder 4, displace the Snyder 9. And this 8 means this has to be a 1. We are starting to build some momentum here. This is looking great. And now with that 9, displace that Snyder 9. Always go for the marks. Remove that clutter. It just makes it so much easier to solve the rest of the puzzle when you remove a lot of the clutter. So like right here, 7, 4 here means that has to be your 2. And with this 4 and a 2, that's got to be your 7. That's got to be your 4. And now we can disambiguate the 7, 4 right there. Awesome. And now with these 2s, only place to put a 2 in block 6 is right here. And just follow the same digit. You can get a quick solve that way. We just need a 1 and 8 right there. And we need a 1, 8 across row 5. Well, this 1's going to be the key using my right angle trick. There's an 8. There's a 1. Here's your 8. Here's your 1. And here's your 8. Solving all that by just knowing that that's a 1 right there. Nice. And we actually solve for the 1 here in block 6, which makes our last digit a 7. Now apply the 3 tips you just learned to this next puzzle. Thank you so much for watching.